That was tremendously foul. Oh, why would anyone buy that? Ready to do this, Randy? So there are only a few days left before Christmas, and if you're anything like me, this is when you start doing your Christmas shopping. It's super stressful, but I really just thrive on it. So with that in mind, I thought it would be helpful, or at least kind of fun, to put together a gift guide. But this won't be a normal gift guide. This gift guide is not exactly normal. Oh boy, let's get into it. Some of these gifts are inspired by the show, some are just things that I've picked up over the years, and all of them are not your normal Christmas gifts. There's no socks allowed. And I want to thank my fiance for giving me the idea for this video. Oh, did you not hear the news? I've literally told no one. Is this how you're finding out for the first time, Mother? Well, congratulations are in order. To me, and I guess her too, but really mostly to me. These are gifts for the person in your life that is impossible to buy for, the person that has everything. These are gifts that I sincerely hope will elicit the response, what the f is this, and why did you buy it for me? I tried to avoid sending people to Amazon, but I realized that this close to Christmas, Amazon might be the only option to get them in time. So with that out of the way, let's get to the consumerism. Let's start with books and other print media. For the ASMR lover in your life, you should pick up a copy of Brain Tingles by Dr. Craig Richard. I actually got to interview Dr. Richard a few years ago for my piece on ASMR, which if you haven't seen, you should stop watching this video and go watch that one. It's really good.
ASMR stands for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. It's as relaxing as getting a massage. But I can watch a video on YouTube and no one's touching me and feel almost as relaxed.
This book is super interesting, especially if you're getting into ASMR for the first time. It's a really good primer on what ASMR is and what it does to your brain, as well as where it came from. This one you can find at a lot of different bookstores, and Amazon is telling me that you can still get a copy before Christmas. Next up is the Moose in the City book. I talked about this one quite a bit in my video last week, but in case you missed it, it's a photo book featuring all the moose from the Moose in the City project from Toronto in the year 2000.
What was a moose book? I had no idea. All I knew is when Mel asked for something, we did it.
So if you're looking for a gift for someone who grew up in Toronto in the 2000s, this book is a real nostalgia blast.
You know what the moose sort of remind me of now? It's like a good corny joke. Like everybody gets to groan at the end. They're like, oh yeah, it's so silly, it's so funny.
Right.
This one is a bit harder to get a copy of as it's not sold in stores, but if you go to incredibleprinting.com, you can send a message to Mendl or Nicole and you can get a copy. They're $25 each and the proceeds go to charity. My third gift book recommendation is for any history fans or fans of, well, I hope not, but fans of blood sport. It's Fox Tossing and Other Forgotten Dangerous Sports, Pastimes, and Games by Edward Brooke Hitching. It's a super interesting read, and I did a video on fox tossing a few years ago, and it was a valuable resource.
Once the fox ran over the bouncing cloth, the two players would pull the cloth tight as hard as they could, launching the fox into the air.
It's also filled with a bunch of information on other really weird sports like balloon jumping, eel pulling, cheetah greyhound racing, and so much more. It's a super interesting read and it's quite easy to find at bookstores or on Amazon. Another book you might like for the animal lover in your life is one I co-wrote. It's this one. It's the Animalogic book, which features lots of art, photos, and information about many of the amazing animals we featured on the show. And as a heads up, I don't actually get any money from the book, but my name is on the cover, so when I'm at parties, all I do talk about is how I wrote a book. So yeah, I'm pretty insufferable. But hey, look, there's a Coyote Peterson quote on the back. It's pretty cool. My last book recommendation was gonna be a copy of the world's first crossword puzzle book from 1924, but then I saw that the reprints of it are going for $900 US online. And then I discovered that in September, in order to celebrate the 100th anniversary of that book, Simon & Schuster have released a 100-year anniversary edition crossword puzzle book featuring 300 all-new puzzles. So if you have a crossword in your life and are looking for a cool gift with a fascinating history, this could be it. But if you're like me and you want a copy of the original crossword puzzle book, it is in the public domain, so you can just print off a copy online and I guess give them, just a stack of 8.5 by 11 printer paper. I'll leave a link to the downloadable copy in the description. And I also made a video about it. Five-letter word for exhausted. Tired? Probably. Yeah, it's fun. Can confirm. Crosswords from literally 100 years ago, still a good time. Moving into comics and magazines, do you have a friend who really wants to see Archie fight the Predator? Well, do I have the gift for you? It's Archie versus Predator. Actually, it's really more Betty and Veronica versus the Predator, but still, it's a real good and blood-soaked time. Oh, but now you're telling me that that friend really likes the Archie versus genre, but does not like the Predator at all? Well, how about Archie versus Sharknado, in which Archie fights a tornado filled with sharks. Again, it's really more Betty and Veronica fight the tornado filled with sharks, but still, it's a real good and blood-soaked time. Or perhaps you have a Star Wars lover in your life. Well, these two magazines take Star Wars lover very literally. It's Wookie-rotica. These ones are a bit harder to get a copy of, as far as I know, they're only sold at the Empire Strips Back Burlesque show, which is a super good time, and I highly recommend going if you can and they're in your city. It's really well done. But these magazines are so well put together. They're filled with all these hilarious ads for products and services from the Star Wars universe, like Skywalker whiskey, Imperial Strike cigarettes, Tauntaun rugs, Cloud City condos, and hilarious articles like 7 reasons not to fall in love with your droid, or yoga with Yoda, or they have like a Wookiees bar guide to how to make Star Wars themed drinks. Like this is like a blue milk inspired drink. And then all the photography done for both issues is just top notch. This is my 18 plus, would recommend if you can find a copy, and then you can tell people you're only reading it for the articles. Or the ads. Look at this, it's vodka, but from the snow monster from Empire Strikes Back. What's his name? I'm pretty sure he was also in the Rudolph stop frame animation thing, but you let me know in the comments. Speaking of Star Wars, years ago, I made a video about the black market for Baby Yoda toys.
Oh my god, that's the cutest thing I've ever seen.
Oh, he's too precious. I just fell in love with him like everybody else.
Wait, is he fuzzy on top?
Oh my gosh, he's the best baby ever.
Basically, Disney severely underestimated the demand for Grogu toys, and so crafters on platforms like Etsy stepped up and made their own.
My twin sister and I started watching The Mandalorian, and that's how I got into it, because the first time I saw him, I was like, oh my god, that's the cutest thing I've ever seen.
And while today it is very easy to get officially licensed Baby Yoda merch, like this adorable little Grogu ornament that I have on my way too Star Wars-y tree, this isn't even all my Star Wars ornaments. I had to hold back. I might have a problem. Anyways, a lot of the crafters that I spoke to are still making adorable sort of black market Baby Yodas. So if you want to get one for the Star Wars lover in your life who isn't quite old enough for Wookie-rotica, I'll leave a link in the description to a few of the crafters that I spoke to that are still making Baby Yodas. One of my favorite possessions that you can surprisingly fairly easily get a copy of is this. It's a recording of a Jimi Hendrix song cut into an X-ray of a guy's head. These are called ribs recordings or ribs music, and they're from Soviet-era Russia when you couldn't get American music in the Soviet Union. And since only state-sanctioned artists were allowed to record and press vinyl, people started cutting American music into X-rays because they were fairly readily available. They are surprisingly easy to find on eBay, and they go for like 50 or 60 bucks, and it still works. Like, it still plays the Jimi Hendrix song. I played it a few times, but I don't want to wear it out, but here's a recording. And while you probably can't get one in time for this Christmas, unless you're in Russia, you can probably get one in time for Christmas 2025. So if you have a music or history lover in your life, this might make a really good gift. Also, it lights up. They don't come like this. I had to make this. Not to spoil anything, but this one is from an upcoming episode. If you have a tarot enthusiast in your life, instead of getting them a boring old tarot deck with beautiful art inspired by tarot decks going back centuries, why not get them a tarot deck inspired by the hit 2005 show Supernatural? I bought this deck purely to make myself laugh, which it has, but I've actually come to quite like it. I kind of like the art, and one thing that this deck does that other decks that I've seen don't do is, instead of just offering sort of spiritual guidance in this little guidebook for each card, it sort of gives you like a series recap of like who the characters are and like what they're up to. So if you have a tarot fan in your life that's looking for spiritual guidance, or you know, trying to figure out more about the TV show Supernatural, this deck might be for you. Okay, now for the quickfire round. If you have a Simpsons fan in your life, how about one of these embroidered and painted loops featuring scenes from the show? They're pretty awesome. Or maybe you have a Seinfeld fan in your life. How about one of these Peg George Costanza, not like that, featuring George in a little Gore-Tex jacket, knowing that Pepsi is in fact better than wine. Or maybe you need a little motivation. So how about these two little cute positive potatoes that my mother gave to me last year? I'll leave links to all of them in the description. Or if you have a true Not Exactly Normal fan in your life, how about gifting them or yourself a subscription to my Patreon? You'll get early access to videos, exclusive content, and your name will appear in the credits. I'd subscribe if I could, but I'm on a list. And finally, I'm gonna leave you the wild card. This one probably could be an entire video by itself, the worst or weirdest possible types of alcohol. This one is Habanero Vodka Runoff Spray, which is my favorite one I've found so far. And by favorite one, I mean favorite sounding one, because I have yet to try it. So let's see how it goes. This is gonna be awful. I've had this since 2022. We got it in Saskatchewan, along with some dill pickle vodka. Oh, it smells. Oh, it smells. It's called Inferno Spray, or Inferno Effin' Hot Spray, by 42 Smooth Craft Distillery in Saskatchewan. I got it when we were there filming in the grasslands. Let's start on the tongue and see how we do. Oh, I don't know if I can do it again. So the card literally filled up as I sprayed it, so I don't know if I got it, so I'm gonna have to do it again. All right, here we go. Oh! Oh! That was tremendously foul. Oh, why would anyone buy that? Maybe it's a hot sauce and not a beverage? Then why is it made of vodka? Oh, please don't make me make a video about it. Anyways, I hope this was helpful or at least enjoyable to watch. And if you like this sort of thing, please consider subscribing. I have a bunch of new content that I plan to come out in the new year, so I really hope I'll see you soon. Have a great holiday, and I'll see you soon. Oh, that is rancid. It is upsetting how bad that was. It has a 40% alcohol volume. Oh, it's like a prairie fire shot, but way worse. Seriously, this is not even all the Star Wars ornaments that I have. I don't even love Star Wars that much. People just give them to me. I mean, I love Star Wars, but I don't know that I love Star Wars. And no, I got it. Okay.